Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on the zone. Mr. Frank Warren joins me. It's good to see you, Frank. I feel like it's been quite a while.
It has. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. They've turned the music off just for us, but I was hoping if we did get a bit of music, we might get to see some moves.
I was going to do a bit of breakdancing, but I'll give it a rest now.
I was thinking more jazz.
Why is that? You're being ageist now.
Am I? Should we restart this interview?
No, go on,
Should we
let's
restart this? Derek Chisora, I was actually looking the other day. Do you know how many of Derek's, I'll say 49 fights including Saturday night, you have been lead promoter for?
No, I don't. You know?
25.
Bloody hell. It's nearly half of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
More than half of them. Yeah.
What's your Derek Chisora best memories?
Probably when... It's been quite a few, but probably David Hay fight, which was a bit of an event at West Ham. The fight with that he had with Klitschko, again was a cracking fight, and I suppose in some ways his fights he had with certainly his second fight that he had with Tyson, which I felt was that was a coming of age for Tyson, in as much that I felt fancied Derek to beat Tyson on the night, but that was not the case.
Yeah, it's amazing how much of a role Derek's played in not just British boxing, but so many careers. Like I think he said the other day, there's only 2 Brits that he hasn't faced that he would like to, in Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois. Like his list is unmatched.
Well, that's right. Well, he's been around a long time, so he's been the guy who's been, as you say, been in with all of them, and always, given everything when he's gone into those fights.
We've also got some of the outside of the ring stuff. I know kind of the clips always resurface on Fight Week. The fence, the kiss at the head-to-head. He's entertained us outside of the ropes as well.
Yeah. I mean,
probably not without a bit of
it's not
strain on you
I mean,
at times.
The stuff that happened with David Hay, I mean, that was not contrived or set up. It was the fact that the press conference after the fight was for him. David came in and started calling out Klitschko, and he took offence to it, and he went over to say something to him. And I think David felt he was going to put it on him, and David, threw the first punch, and that was it.
Yeah. In terms of what we're going to get on Saturday night, is it quite unusual? Because a lot of the time, obviously, for you plotting careers of any fighter, you've got a fight, and then you think about what's next. With Derek, he's been quite clear that it's this, and then there's one more. So I don't know, has he kind of got free will to do what he wants?
We have plotted this for him. I mean, this is a tough fight. Otto Wallin is a southpaw, and I think he will give him problems to think about. But this fight's also now become an eliminator for the IBF title. So it's a very important fight for Derek.
So fight number 50, the final fight of Derek Chisora's career, could be a world title fight and maybe a world title victory.
I don't want to look beyond that, but that's, we don't just make fights, we make them for a reason, and we make them to move through. I mean, let's get it right. I thought he should have retired a couple of years ago. So he's still here doing it.
Yeah. It's only because when Otto Wallin was announced, obviously he's called The Last Dance. He wanted it in Manchester. We was presuming that what he would want for the UK fans is kind of a stand and trade, a big war, something you probably ain't going to get with Otto Wallin. So your thinking behind this always had that IBF eliminator intention. Would that be?
Well, we applied for it, but also, Wallin would be a good gauge for him to see, where he's at. I mean, he was the fight that he had before AJ challenged Daniel Dubois, and this to see whether he should be entitled or should be able to get into a world title fight if we go down that road. But this is, his 49th fight, his last fight in the UK, and we'll see what happens after this.
Is it his last fight in the UK? Because
Yeah.
you know what boxers are like.
Well, I know what boxers are like, and I hear it, but this is the plan, and he has a contract with us and for a certain number of fights, and the next one will be outside of the UK if he comes through this.
Zimbabwe?
Sorry?
Zimbabwe?
Derek's not fighting for nothing. He's going to want to get paid, and if it's Zimbabwe, they're going to have to come up with the money.
Queensbury, Zimbabwe. I'm here for it.
Sounds
I'm
good
here
to
for
me,
it. I know there was a change to the undercard. Willie Hutchinson pulled out with a shoulder problem.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for Zach. I guess that was kind of the fight to a fight that if he had won would have given him real momentum going forward. But there is a replacement, and Zach will be fighting on Saturday night.
Yeah, he's got a good opponent, and that's we kept him on the card. It's been difficult, but we kept him on the card. He's been training. It's just unfortunate because that was a really good fight, or potentially a good fight between the two of them.
Nelson Heisa is someone that kind of intrigues me a little bit. I know we saw him on Box Nation at York Hall. What's the plan going forward with Nelson? He's big, he's unbeaten. Age isn't really on his side, but I guess there's something huge in the pipeline if he's to get a win on Saturday.
If he gets a win on Saturday, it'll progress his career, and we'll move him into another significant fight. That's the name of the game. He'll want to move forward, so he's going to have to put a real good performance in on Saturday to determine whether that's going to happen.
It's a brilliant night. Can't wait for Saturday night at the Co-op. I've got to talk about a couple of fights that have kind of been murmured, and especially ones that haven't been accepted or made. Adam Azim and Pierce O'Leary was a fight offered for the Eubank-Benn undercard.
Yeah.
Just from your side, why is that not a fight that we're seeing announced, or a fight we won't see on April 26th?
And obviously, his connections don't want it.
That simple?
As simple as that, yeah. That fight's there to be done. That's no problem with me making that fight.
Did Pierce stress to you specifically that he wanted to fight with Adam? Or?
Yes, he did. You know, he's there to fight anyone, Pierce. He doesn't duck anybody. He's got a very good record, with an unbeaten record. And, if you're talking about Adam Azim, his name deserves to be certainly mentioned in the same breath, if not more, because he's had more experience and fought very good quality opposition.
Did you believe it's the people around Adam Azim and not Adam specifically?
Better ask Adam, the only one who can answer that. But that fight, he wants it done, it's there to be done.
Because we had the same with obviously Dalton Smith and their back and forth. Are you looking at it from perhaps the Azim side and seeing that it might be kind of them who are less inclined to negotiate these type of fights?
The other side, and he's a good fighter, Adam. I'm not saying any different. But they keep saying he'll fight anybody. Well, there you go. There's a nice fight to be made. Cooperation amongst promoters.
Will Pierce O'Leary fight on the Eubank-Benn card regardless?
No.
Okay. In terms of Eubank-Benn, what do you make now? It's over the line. What do you make of the fight now? It's over the line, and obviously I know you've got nothing in the game. But
it is what it is. I'd like to see one of them fight Hamza or Denzel Bentley. That's what I'd like to see. Every day of the week. They're not even the two best fighters in Essex. But they're weight.
So where would you put your interest then? Obviously you're going to be tuning in, but would you say it's a fight you're looking forward to? Or?
Yeah, I'll watch it. I'll watch all boxing on there. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah. I know Eubank.
I'm not going to change my views on the fight at all. I've said enough about the fight, what I think about it. I'm not a big fan of Chris Eubanks Jr. He's 36 years of age, and I'll look at what Hamza's doing. I'll look what Denzel Bentley have done. Gone and fought for proper world titles, real world titles, and done them at a young age.
Do you feel like Chris has wasted perhaps prime years of his career?
I don't think about him at all, to be quite honest. It doesn't concern me. All I'm interested in doing, is making fights for my fighters. And as I say, him and Connor, anytime can fight my two guys.
Obviously, Chris Eubank Sr. come out, and he said this the first time round, kind of an unfortunate oracle when he said this fight won't happen. It ended up not happening. He's come out and said that again.
Well, it didn't happen.
What do you believe's going through?
It didn't happen for a different reason. I mean, it weren't nothing. But what do I think about it? I think the weight thing at the time was a very relevant point. Of course it was. It was a very relevant point. But look, it is what it is, and that's the Board of Control. They're obviously will be scrutinising everything. I'm sure everything will be in order.
Yeah. I spent some time on Monday with Delicious Ori. Real character. We done a 25-minute interview in the cab from DAZN to Talk Sport. Really good story, really good talker, and I can imagine someone you're excited to have over the line.
Yeah, I mean, we're very strong in the heavyweight division. We've got, bloody hell, we're some great heavyweight fighters. And
this would go on for too long if you tried to list.
We're delighted he's on board, and we'll get behind him and we'll push him and give him every opportunity that he needs to progress his career. He's a great addition to the heavyweight scene, professional scene, and a great addition to the Queensbury team.
Could we see him make his debut on, I guess, perhaps the first DAZN card beyond April 1st?
Probably, yeah.
Is that going to be?
It will be the case, yeah.
Obviously, we haven't got stuff announced for Fabio and Moses as well. Are we looking at quite a heavyweight strong?
You're looking at some announcements next Monday. Monday coming. Next Monday there'll be an announcement of the first show that's going to be on DAZN.
Just in terms of a couple of them heavyweights, I haven't spoke to you since this. I know we spoke on the day that obviously Tyson announced his retirement, but me and Coogan were actually in the car listening to when you went on Talk Sport, and Turkey come on and Simon Jordan was there, and you were talking about Moses Atalma. And we were just not astonished because we know the talent of Moses, but the fact that he's mentioned in and around these names, and yet not one person bats an eyelid and feels like he's out of place.
You're absolutely right. They don't. Yeah. They don't. He's only just turned 20, hasn't he? Within a month.
Are we going to get this world title to break Mike Tyson's record?
We'll be announcing his fight pretty soon. Pretty soon. We're just going to keep moving him forward, and doing what we're doing with him. And he's got a good team around him. He's got a good manager in my son Francis, good trainer in Ben, Queensbury promoting him. It's a strong team behind him. Backing a very, very good fighter.
So I know you would look far in advance. So I don't want to seem like I've been studying and trying to do the job that you're doing. But with Atalma ranked nicely with the WBO, Fabio with the WBA, Daniel with the IBF. Have you kind of got your eye on like complete heavyweight domination when obviously the day comes that Usyk?
These guys are winning fights and they're moving up the rankings, and they're with us, and that's what we do. We get behind our fighters and move them up the rankings and make the fights for them. Most of the times they win, sometimes they lose. But where we're getting to now with all these guys, they're all going to be fighting each other soon, which is brilliant because they're not going to be difficult fights to make. We're not going to have all this, I don't fancy it job. The best to fight the best, and it's not the end of the world for losers, as we know. They can come back and still be in the mix. The heavyweight scene is brilliant. I mean, look at this where we are now. Who'd have thought Derek Chisora would be topping the bill, and me promoting it with him in the best arena in Europe, by the way, the Co-op Arena.
When you thought he should retire a couple of years ago as well.
Exactly right. But here we are, and we sold more tickets for this than they did for Joe Bugner and Henry Cooper, which was a massive fight. More tickets has been sold for this than Lennox Lewis against Oliver McCall. There's a list of it. Sold a lot of tickets.
Was you worried the fight might not happen because he stuck it on Sonny yesterday?
What?
Did you see him stick it on Sonny yesterday,
What,
Derek?
my Sonny?
Yeah.
No, what happened?
You don't see it? Well, I say stick it on him. He was like, "Who are you? Who are you in the ring to Sonny?"
I bet he didn't move back, did he?
He didn't.
No, of course he didn't.
Because he's a Warren.
Yeah, right, there you go.
Final one. Jake Paul Canelo. I know it's quite a ridiculous question to even stand here and being asked. What's your take on Jake Paul versus Canelo, a fight that we're presuming is actually going to be the next for Canelo
Alvarez?
Alvarez?
Things flying around at the moment. That's a massive attraction. And all indications that's the fight that's going to happen. And I see this morning on the Ring social media site, they said that Crawford fight's off, and that's it. So it's done. So you think that's the direction it's going in, and it'll be a huge fight. There'll be a lot of response to that, obviously.
How do we take it as boxing fans from Canelo's side? Because I know people will obviously want to give him stick.
It don't matter how you want to take it. It's going to happen. Whether you like it or not, or I like it or not, it's going to happen. We can all sit here and moan and complain about it like we did, like including myself, about the fight with Mike Tyson. But at the end of the day, it went on and it happened. Difference this time round, it's not a 58-year-old guy. It's a live fighter.